Suella Braverman was out doing the morning round yesterday, talking about police numbers and barges, and she wasn't doing it very well. She insisted that police numbers are on a record high, and to be fair, on paper, they are about 3,000 more officers than there were back in 2010. But, as the BBC pointed out, the population has increased, meaning there's actually less people per head than there was back in 2010. But if you go by numbers, then yes, 3,000 more is correct. On top of the police lies about falling crime, it's actually been going up. Today, the government wrote off £4 billion of fraud during the pandemic. So just like that, not interested in trying to recover it, they just wiped it off. And she sits there on the morning round claiming they have the highest number on record and they'll turn over every leaf, every stone, go into every pawn shop and find your stolen mobile phone. But when it comes to finding £4 billion worth of fraud siphoned off for their mates, yeah, we'll just wipe that off. It's absolutely sickening. She also knows better than the fire brigade because, well, they're Labour supporters, so what do they know? But she said the barges are safe and therefore they must be safe because, she's the Home Secretary and the Chief Fire Officer, apparently. Throughout both interviews, you can tell that she's sticking to her pre-planned talking points. And she does get caught off when Sky asks her about if she's standing for leadership if they lose the next general election. And that's where you can actually see that what she's saying, she needs to say, but her facial expressions are telling you something completely different. Anyway, I'll let you have a look. Let me know what you think down in the comments.
We've increased the number of police officers. We've now got a record number ever in the history of policing in terms of police officers on the beat and working on the front line. And now this is about ensuring that they
left the police force after 2010, haven't you? We're back to where we were.
Well, that's not quite right because we've surpassed any level that has been achieved in history. As I said, we've got the highest number on record.
But we have to be absolutely clear here. You've basically brought police numbers back up to where they were when you came into power in 2010, and the population that those police officers are policing is much bigger. So per capita, there are fewer police officers doing that job right now. And 90% of crime, more than 90% of crime, goes unsolved. So how is that 90% figure going to improve by this change today?
Well, I just need to correct you there. As I said, we've not just returned to 2010
it's
levels. We've
above,
surpassed
slightly
them.
above.
So we've exceeded. No, we've exceeded any number that's ever been reached when it comes to police numbers. That's absolutely indisputable. What I would also say that over the last 10-year period, we've seen overall crime fall.
Can we move on and talk about migration, the Bibby Stockholm barge, part of your proposed solution to the migrant crisis? It's still empty. The migrants who finally got on board were then taken off because of this Legionella scare. Any news on when it might be fit to house them again safely?
Well, we are following all of the safety checks, and once those are complete, we'll be re-embarking people back onto the barge. I'm confident that the barge is safe.
Fire Authority, maybe, the Fire Brigades Union are making headlines again today. They say that they have written to you expressing safety concerns. They say the barge is a death trap, potentially, and they say you won't meet them. Why not?
Well, let me be clear that I'm confident that the barge is safe. This barge has accommodated people in the past, asylum seekers, oil rig workers, and barges of this kind have been used to accommodate asylum seekers, for example, in Scotland. So I'm very confident that this barge is safe for human habitation. We followed all of the advice and protocols in anticipation of embarkation. But let's be clear about what the Fire Brigade Union are doing. They are a Labour-affiliated union. They are carrying out a political attack on the government through their challenge right now. They want to stop us, just like we're dealing with the range of forces who want to stop us from stopping the boats, whether it's immigration lawyers, charities, NGOs, the Labour Party. They're all gleeful about the prospect of us not putting people on the barge.
There are no extra resources, there are no extra staff to do these jobs. The police are not sitting around on their hands, are they? They are all working at the moment. So what will go as a result of this? What will they not be investigating?
Well, I disagree with you. There are no extra resources. We've just recruited 20,000 additional police officers. So we now have
recruited 3,000 additional police officers. You lost 20,000 police officers, didn't you, over from 2010 up to the latest date? So you've lost 20,000, you've gained 23,000. So you've gained 3,000.
That's wrong. We now have a record number of police officers.
It's the Home Office figures that I have here.
Ever in the history of policing, far higher than any previous administration. So the police have the greatest number of police officers they've ever had at their disposal.
Okay.
We've also
got the Home Office figures. You've got 149,000 police officers at the moment. There were 146 in 2010. So absolutely, you have got 3,000 more officers. These are the Home Office figures.
Yeah, we've got a record number of police officers ever in the history of policing. So
it isn't working, though, is it? Last week alone, there were 1,773 migrants who crossed the Channel. Do you not think it was a mistake to make such a bold pledge at the start of the year?
It's what the British people expect of us. It's what I passionately believe is the right thing to do. And we are making progress. As I said, we've passed our landmark legislation. But let's also be clear about what we're up against. We're up against a range of forces which are intent on stopping us, whether it's immigration lawyers, charities, NGOs, many of whom have very close links with the Labour Party.
Well, the Labour Party haven't been in power for 13 years, so it does seem a little rich to blame them for the crossing numbers.
No plan whatsoever to stop the boats. They support free movement of people, and actually they want to facilitate illegal migration.
Well, let's get back to what the Conservative government is doing. We're giving France £500 million over 3 years to try to boost policing on the beaches there. I mean, is it good value for money? In terms of the number of intercepts that are carried out, it's actually fallen slightly this year compared to last year, hasn't it? I mean, is it worth the paper that it's written on?
Our relationship with France is absolutely critical to succeeding in stopping the boats.
Before we go, Nadine Dorries, of course, resigned at the weekend. What did you make of her resignation letter? Do you feel you're part of a zombie government?
Well, I respect Nadine Dorries, but I disagree with much of her letter. I believe that we've achieved a huge amount. I know Rishi Sunak is a man of action, and he's made some important pledges to the British people. He's intent on delivering them, as am I and every Conservative member of Parliament.
Will you run for leader if he's forced out at the general election?
I'm here to stop the boats. I'm here to support Rishi Sunak, and I'll be campaigning energetically for Rishi Sunak to be re-elected as Prime Minister, for the Conservatives to win the next general election. And I believe that we have a good chance of winning that election if we meet all of our pledges.
Suella Braverman isn't very good at TV interviews, and you can see her failing in another one right now on screen. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button or the join button for membership, and I'll see you next time.